First, do the prosecutors, Jessica, ever really listen to the family members when it comes to what they want with a crime scene like this?
Well, absolutely listen to what the victims want. And thank you for having me. I think in this case, when it comes to preserving evidence, this is really going to be a decision of the attorneys, whether it's the defense or the prosecutor, when they're looking at their case and what's necessary in order to preserve the evidence in the case. I think you're right. When you were talking earlier about how there was a motion in December to preserve the evidence that was filed by the defense in this case, it actually lapsed on February 1st. And so that's probably why the university feels that they are now available to go ahead with any sort of actions with regard to the House. Because from what I can tell, that order has not been renewed to preserve the evidence. And I do think either side could. I'm sorry. Yes.
Can it be? Can the prosecutor, renew a motion to compel preservation, or even the defense for that matter? I mean, right now we know that some of the family members have asked the prosecutor. Can they compel the university to keep it standing?
I do believe they could, yes. I believe that either side could renew that motion. It said until further order of the court. And so I think the court was contemplating that that wouldn't necessarily be the end, but neither side has. And I don't know. I mean, as far as I can tell, there's a lot in this case, as you know, that's been sealed. And so it's a little bit difficult to tell exactly what's been filed. But from looking at the I-Court's printout of the case history, from what I can tell, neither side has raised that issue since it lapsed. And so my thought is neither one of them seems to believe at this point that they do need that evidence, or I would think they would have filed that motion. As you stated when you were talking about crime scene, it is still a crime scene, obviously, in the sense that this is where the crime occurred. There's going to be evidence there, whether they've come in and cleaned out some of that, how much of that has been removed or not. There's still some evidentiary value there, as you stated. I think there's huge value in just looking at the layout of the house, all those things.
Help me with this. Help me with the wording, because we were very specific in asking the university if they were told by the Moscow police that this crime scene has been cleared. And there's a big difference, right? Like, you can move back into your house. You can drive through this intersection. You can now, it's now good to go. We're done. And they didn't answer that. They just said, we can proceed. Are you able to read in as an attorney what that meant?
Well, I think we can proceed just means there is nothing prohibiting them at this point in time legally from doing what they want with the house. And that's what and I'm sure they're having some communications with the attorneys in this case about what's appropriate and about what they may or may not need. You have two very qualified attorneys. I have a lot of respect for Bill Thompson. I've known Bill Thompson. I used to work not in the same office, but when I was a city prosecutor, he was the county prosecutor in Moscow. He was very well respected then. I don't know Ann Taylor, but I understand she's very well qualified. So both of these attorneys are in a good position to communicate with the university. And I think what they have to say would matter significantly. I mean, this is a very important case to this university, and the university president cares a lot about what's going on with this case and the impact this is having. So I really do think that those communications are probably happening, and it's probably respectful on both sides.
Jessica, thank you so much for being on. I want to invite you back so we can have a further conversation about how jury visits change the dynamic of a verdict, because I think that it can go several different ways. And you and I can have that conversation at another time, but I do appreciate this tonight. Thanks.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Ashleigh.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.